17, the fall leadership. It's kind of different this year because we had to change things up. But I'm Tanya Rhodes. I'm the Region Director for Region 17 PTA, which essentially Region 17 is Canyon School District. So it's all of the schools in the Canyon School District. First off, I want to take a moment to say that I appreciate your willingness to volunteer your time to the schools, and to also your willingness to be here to receive all the information that you need to be able to do your jobs for the year. Of course, PTA is not going to look the same this year. It's going to be different than previous years, and that's just because our world is changing a little bit. But I ask that you be patient as the things are ironed out as we go through, because I think things will change as we go. We will try to be ahead of things, but always know that the Region Board is here for you to ask questions and to brainstorm through things if you need us. So, first off, I would like to introduce this year's Region 17's Executive Committee. So, I'm the Region Director, Tanya Rhodes. Terry Francis, if you'll stand and just stay standing and give a wave. Terry Francis is our Region 17 Associate Director. Daniela Dulger, oh, I was going to ask her, I'm so sorry, Daniela. And she's our Region 17 Secretary. Liz Miles is our Region 17 Treasurer. Wendy Smith, I haven't seen her yet, is our Region 17 Legislative Director. Cherie Robinson is our Region 17 Health and Safety. Rick Robbins, which is our Superintendent, is our Administrative Representative. And Susan Edwards is our PTA Liaison for Canyons District. Can we have a round of applause? Thank you. All right, so now I would just like to turn the time over to Dr. Rick Robbins, our new superintendent.
Does this work? Try it. Testing. No? Okay, I'll just speak into this mic. I just want to tell Tanya and all of you thank you for inviting me and being here today. I love the motto, every child, one voice. That is very reflective of what all of you do. And I also want to recognize our board president, Nancy Teeny, that's here with us today too. A little bit about me, and then I'll share just a few thoughts. First off, I also just want to thank all of you for your advocacy, for what you do for our kids. And in these uncertain times, it means more than ever before. And so, you know, I know that I'm sure that you're all feeling the stress and the uncertainty that's around us, but I really truly believe that as a community and as a nation, as a state, we will get through this, and it will really be because of our relationships to each other and to our kids. I've been in education going on my 25th year. I've worked in 4 different school districts. I actually started at Copper Hills High School in Jordan School District years ago, and kind of worked my way through. I've been in Salt Lake County as well as Utah County, and then moved to Nephi, to Juab School District, where my wife was from, who she also happens to be an educator and is a school psychologist and a former special ed teacher and counselor. So, been a classroom teacher many years before I got into administration, and then served as an assistant principal at different levels, as well as a high school principal. My dad was a longtime 40-plus year educator himself, and so for me this is really what I have known since, you know, I was just a little kid. I always saw the good that he did for others and what it meant to kids, and I thought, you know, that's something that I want to do. And I've been extremely blessed and fortunate to have amazing mentors and people in my life that really influenced my pathway. So I want you all to know that my opinion of Canyon School District, long before I made the decision to apply, is a lighthouse district across not just our state, but our nation. And that's what it took to attract me to even think about applying, is just knowing that this really is a school community, and that your connection to your neighborhood schools and to your kids and to your teachers and your schools is really what makes Canyons great. And so for me, that was really a no-brainer decision to decide to want to be part of such a great community and school district. Just a little bit about kind of where we're at, and then I think we're going to take some questions for the panel. We're in a really tough situation, if you haven't noticed already. And I mentioned this at board meeting, but I just want to lay out kind of the context for how I'm feeling and recognize that uneasiness and that fear. I think it's a very healthy thing to talk through those things and build those relationships so that we understand each other better. But the situation is that none of us created COVID, right? None of us would have asked for a terrible pandemic and virus to come into our communities and do the type of damage that has been done. But here we are, and we have to deal with it, and we have to find a way forward. And I am certainly as fearful and scared about opening school as anybody else. I have a third grader that's going to go to school this fall, and I have great fears for her going to school. I also am married to my spouse that I just mentioned. She is high risk and is also returning to school. And I feel the same for all of you, our teachers, our staff. We're really heading into the unknown. And that's difficult, because when things are unknown, we really start to look for certainty and absolutes, right? And that really increases our fear. I'm also as frightened for the loss of learning and loss of wellness with our students. This will be going on to 5 months now, 4.5 months of our students missing out on a lot of those experiences. And I don't take anything away from what all of us did as a community in March, when we had to have an abrupt stop to school and essentially life. But I don't think we can minimize the trauma and the impact that occurred on all of us, but especially our kids. There was a recent study Brown University just put out a while back that looked at the impact of Hurricane Katrina in 2006. And so they really took a look at over 5 million kids in the Southeast post-Hurricane Katrina, and what happened to those kids for the next 10 years. And it's absolutely stunning to see just how disconnected and what that loss of learning, what that loss of mental health and wellness and social well-being, the kind of toll that took on the children in the Southeast, especially in the state of Louisiana. So with that, we find ourselves in a place where the stakes are high, right? And we have to find a way forward. I am fully confident in our plan going forward to achieve those goals and to engage our kids, engage our school community again, and to move forward as safe as possible. There's no possible way for us to eliminate risk. As I mentioned, those absolutes are very difficult to achieve. Even if all things were perfect, it would still be difficult to achieve. But we can do as much as possible to mitigate that risk. And recently I had, if you listened to board meeting or you've seen this, I would encourage you to take a look at it. I met infectious disease doctor that lives within our boundaries, Dr. Brandon Webb. And if you know Dr. Webb, he's an outstanding doctor. And we got talking about this, and this is what he does, right? He works in epidemiology, and he works with COVID patients daily. And he just talked me through the science and really in a pragmatic way to help me understand how we can stay safe. And so I'm going to leave you with two things that I want you to take from today to really share out, and that we're really encouraging, pushing, fostering, and building this new culture among our schools. If we really want schools to stay open, which I think all of us do, there are really two things that we need to take care of. The first is personal responsibility and personal accountability. When we think about attending school, whether we're there as a volunteer, we're there as a parent, our students are there, each day we've got to be responsible for us. And if I take care of my accountability in keeping myself safe, then I'm keeping you safe. So each morning we do a health check, right, with our kids, and we should really encourage that if our children are sick, stay home. We've done a lot to de-incentivize kids coming to school sick this year, and as you've noticed in our plan, there are a wide variety of options for you to get the education that you need for your kids while keeping them safe. So health check. Second thing is making sure that our students have a face covering or mask. It's very critical. And I'll get back to just how critical that is. The second part is that we need to social distance the best that we can. And I know there's been a lot of discussion about exactly what does social distancing mean, and you get all kinds of information from different angles. One of the important messages that I learned from Dr. Webb is that the approach to mitigating factors is not one or the other, but it really is a layered approach of when you're in different situations, one mitigating strategy is going to work better than the other. And that for me really made a lot of sense, because behavior is very difficult to enforce, right? I mean, even no matter what the situation is, we might be in this setting and then leave and go to a store or go somewhere else, and we're not completely social distance, or we're not able to do some of these things. And so it's a combination. Lastly, hand hygiene, right? Really teaching our kids and encouraging our students to wash their hands as often as possible. And our plans right now, we will have sanitizer in every single classroom each day available to our students, as well as high traffic areas. The second principle that Dr. Webb really instilled with me that I think is important is prudence, that we make our decisions based on prudence. And so as you see our plan continually unfold and develop, things like student assemblies or things like field trips, all of those things right now are postponed, they're on hold. I know how important they are, but we really need to look through a lens of prudence when we make these decisions. And you'll also see that in our site plans, right? As you work with your principals, those are the types of questions that you want to look at. If you're looking at, maybe it's directional flow of our students, maybe it's how we see kids at lunch, maybe it's how we enter school and exit school, that we look at really prudent decisions in what we can do to maximize those mitigating factors. And so with that, I just want to leave you with this, just how much I appreciate all of you and your advocacy for our kids, and I'm super excited to just work with you shoulder to shoulder, and please feel free. I'll make sure my cell number gets out to you. You're always welcome to reach out. There's no need for an appointment. One of the things that's very important to me is that I'm a resource to you, and I've always worked that way. I truly believe that I'm here to serve you. It's not the other way around. And if there is anything that I can do, don't hesitate to give me a call or shoot me a text, and I will do my best to try to address whatever issue that you may have. Also, just want to mention, I didn't say, I do have 4 beautiful children that I adore. Besides my 3rd grader, I have 3 college-age children as well, and I miss them, and they're heading back to kind of the same uncertain time on college campuses, and we're working through those issues as well. So anyway, thank you for having me, and I look forward to visiting with you more. Tanya.